Hello, my name is Tom George, Marketing Solutions Practice Lead for Slalom Consulting in our San Francisco office. I'm here with Michael Yanuzzi, Practice Lead from Advanced Analytics, and Brian Evje, Practice Lead from Organization Effectiveness. We're going to be talking about three big waves of technology that are crashing over marketing and what you need to do to manage those waves of technology. The first are all the ways for engaging your customers, acquiring customers, engaging, converting them. You've heard about it, mobile, social, interactive, online, many different ways of engaging customers. And of course, you've got your traditional ways of engaging customers. So while each new way poses challenges, there's also the challenge of what's the right mix of these channels for reaching customers. The second wave of technology are all of the operational systems available to improve operational efficiency. With these new technologies, many new processes get put into play. And so how do you manage those? Well, there's tools to help do that. Marketing resource management, content management, digital asset management, many tools. These are systems that need to be selected and implemented with care. The third area is the proliferation of data that's occurring. You're probably familiar with that, and we're going to be hearing from Michael Yanuzzi about that in a moment. Before we get to that, I want to tell you about what we see as the first line of defense to handle all of these changes, and that is better processes for planning and governing what's happening within marketing. The big challenge that we see is that things are moving so fast that cyclic planning processes are too slow to keep up. What we need are better mechanisms for driving strategy into operations with scorecards and KPIs, and then better review processes for seeing what's happening on a day-to-day basis. Another big challenge is the alignment between organizations. So are you on the same page as your IT department in particular? These are the different areas that we see that need to be improved from a planning and governance process. So better planning, better visibility into metrics of performance, they're going to help drive that. So now we're going to talk about a big issue that we've heard a lot about, which is managing the data that marketing is acquiring. Michael, tell us, is it true what they say?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the research that we've collected and the conversations that we have with our clients, the explosion of data is top of mind. In fact, 71% of CMOs claim that their biggest challenge, and in fact it was the number one challenge of all the questions and challenges we've provided them, is the explosion of data.
And where's the data coming from?
It's some of it is coming internally, but I think in the recent years it's mostly coming from social, it's coming from mobile, and a lot more data that's being collected on their website.
Right. So there's this proliferation of data. How is it manifesting as challenges for marketing managers?
Well, it's interesting. If you look at the research, you'll notice that 2/3 of marketers claim that they're not using this data or they're not using analytics in their decision-making process. So that's a huge number if you think about the amount of data that's available, the insights that could be gleaned from this information, but marketers saying they're not using it.
Well, why? Why aren't they using it?
I think it's three things. One is there's a lack of understanding. There's a lack of understanding on the business side, and quite frankly, there's a lack of understanding on the IT and the analytics side to be able to bridge the gap between this information and deliver insights that marketers and salespeople could act on. The second thing is skill set. Trying to find people who can cross over between the analytics and the business is very difficult to find. And in fact, Brian and I have been working together trying to develop some framework and some capabilities around that to help clients address these areas. And then finally is always bandwidth. Right. People are busy doing their day jobs, and this is just another thing that they have to work on. So there's a lack of bandwidth within the organization to be able to take on these new challenges.
Well, and what's the motivation? Why get your arms around all this?
Well, the motivation is that the prize is huge for people who get it and people who actually can take these challenges and act on them. So again, looking at the research, if you look at top performers versus low performers, top performers are 4 times as likely to be using analytics and data into their marketing and sales decisions and process. So between the top performers and the low performers, we see definitely a difference in the way that they are using and analyzing the data, and the investment in time and money to be able to solve these problems obviously is worth the effort.
Great. Well, that's very interesting, and you introduced this concept of change. Let's talk to Brian now about how to manage that change.
Tom, we see most of the major challenges affecting marketing organizations as being challenges of change. Michael mentioned the prize being big, and the prize really will go to those organizations that understand how to change and adopt with new technologies, new processes, and new organizational structures to meet these new challenges. So at Slalom, we approach change management in a rigorous and disciplined fashion. We really want to help leaders see how they can put the things in place to help their teams perceive, understand, and act on the new and different decisions and behaviors that they need to embrace the future.
Right. So a disciplined process, I'm sure it's populated with many tools. Can you maybe give us an example?
Yes, we have many tools and methodologies. We adopt these very specifically to the need of the organization and the phase of change that they happen to be in. One tool that I like a lot is a framework that we call Stop, Start, Continue. And it's a very fundamental way to illustrate a particular area of change, whether it's individual role responsibility or functional or some strategy, to illustrate how an organization will move from where they are currently to where they ideally want to go. It will show gaps, it will reveal potential training opportunities, it will show where there are dependencies, and it's an effective way for everyone involved in the change to see what everyone else is also changing about their own behaviors.
And so it's stop, start, continue for individual roles.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, this is a multifaceted problem. We've talked about how planning needs to change. We've talked about the data management challenges, the change management challenges. Big challenge, many challenges, but a great opportunity.